Hi Wubs. Never thought I'd update my original post, but it turns out that you or the most cock-ass keyboard warriors of yours could not handle the criticism of your behavior in the original post that I made, that you had them report my Google Doc. And for what? Harassment, bullying, and threats. I'm not implying that everyone in your audience is a deplorable person, just some bad apples in your group of misfits. But knowing you, you're probably the reason why those bad apples grow in the first place. That stupid tree that you are. You'd normalize that behavior, which I'll get in depth about later. I'm going to break down why none of these terms apply to my document and how I think I am rightfully justified to keep this document up, and how additionally why I actually think these terms might actually apply to you and your fat mouth goons. Let's talk about harassment. This document was created not to harass and belittle you, because belittlement is what bullies do. Instead, I needed to speak out about your behavior that no one seemed to be speaking out about. It is completely fair for me to do, and it is also the only way that I will be able to strike change into yourself and your blind, moan-lusting idiot simps. If anything, you've been on a few harassment campaigns yourself. Almost all the times you've had breakups, you've also recorded said breakups without the other person's consent, which is a shameful and outright douchey thing to do. Which also leads to the other person feel like that they were in the wrong when they did practically nothing in the first place. Which leads into my next topic. I am absolutely not a bully to you, and I don't like the idea that I could be a bully to you. The worst that I could have said about you in regards to bullying, if you want to call it that, is that I call it the fact that you and the ex-partner mentioned in the document are clearly not ready for a relationship, and I still stand by that bluntly. But for you specifically, I will take it a step further and say that you get into relationships too often. In fact, so much that you use them like lifeless pawns. I've become privy to information that implies that you've done even more deplorable things than what I've listed in the document, namely how you control the relationships that you've been a part of, and you've cheated on those ex-partners that you were originally and supposedly in love with. However, I myself have also witnessed some other things that I've never mentioned in the doc. I remember you watching a video about someone that you knew hated your guts and you openly mocked the person, even after the fact that he was in fact deceased, just because he didn't like you. I've also been told, and distinctly remember, that you would openly use slurs, and, as a recently diagnosed autistic person myself, I don't condone the use of the word retard, including for myself. Which, by the way, you're happily allowed to insult me with that term because, well, you've probably run out of other insults that you could possibly use against me, and you'd lose either way, because if you use exactly what I said, then that just proves you don't have anything to go off of to belittle me, and if you try to reach for other insults, then you're only gonna prove my point even more, because that would just be lies that you're reaching for. On the contrary of being a bully, you, Wubs, are absolutely a bully. Your hardcore audience will look at your actions and think that it is acceptable for stuff like this to occur. You've made fun of people for how they look, what they like, and you have openly disrespected the people that were originally your friends. And above all else, you clearly cannot take criticism. Not even less than 24 hours after my original call-out post was made, you've blocked me, which implies that you are unable to come up with a response. If there was something that was truly incorrect, you would probably be able to easily brush it off. Oh, this specific portion of text is very clearly not true, but I'm also not going to respond. Why though? If it was so wrong, you can just disprove it. I guess that's why your feelings were so hurt that you had some thirsty cum-sucking sack of expired human flesh to report my document and attempt to silence me again. Remember what I said in my doc? Remember what I said? I'm not scared of you. You are not silencing me. Which only leaves me with threats. Not once in this document have I ever threatened you. No, not at all. Again, I've simply called out your heinous behavior because how you've treated me and your closest acquaintances is clearly unreasonable, irresponsible, and almost childish. No, it is childish for a 27-year-old human being. On the contrary, I know that you would 100% send your gargoyles to harass me and any person involved in this situation with death threats. You know also that certain people are legally allowed to sue you, and you would not win. And lastly, just remember again that threats won't undo the damage that you've caused. If anything, the more threats you throw out, the more you damage yourself and your reputation. So go sit in that little timeout corner that you had Jack do something similar like, and reflect on your actions. You're not a healthy person to be around, Wubs. Realize that.